Antigone was our first attempt at writing together. I had some Middle Eastern sounding melodies and some riffs. Mark thought that would be a good setting for a song called Antigone, based on the Sophocles play.
Antigone's a song that's really close to both of us because it was the first song we written as Ilium.
So yeah, Antigone was a song that was put together over, I think, a long period of time. And it was an idea lyrically of something that I've always wanted to write about, and the House of Atreus and the ancient Greek theatre at the time, and it still is something that I'm really interested in, the stories and the mythology around ancient Greece, and so I guess I wanted to get that story out in some way. And then the ideas of Jason and Chris to start with on that song really, I guess, put the foundations, but I really don't think that song came into its own until Adam came along, and it was a song that built, it started and it builds in its dynamics, and then it explodes, and then the verses and the choruses happen, and I have very fond memories of that song and putting that together, and still really enjoy listening to that one today.
Antigone. Well, now I'm pretty terrible at remembering lyrics at the best of times, and I'm almost just as bad at reading lyrics. So when you've got like a Greek tragedy on your page, it was a struggle. Let's say that much. Somebody deserved to be hung in that story, I can tell you. I remember on the original version, it was really difficult getting the right vibe for the song. The melodies were really complex, and even worse, the backing vocals. They needed to be both clear, operatic, and big all at once.
When we went to redo Sirens of the Styx, there was sort of an unspoken agreement between Adam and myself that he would review all of the music and I would review all of the lyrics.
Second time round, I didn't want to change the music too much on that. There's some minor details in the riffs, a lot of extra keyboard parts added to it. There's very little else that really needed to change.
Musically, Adam was fairly faithful to the original. He did change a couple of little mid-sections and adjusted some of the riffs a little, but generally speaking it was pretty much the same. Tim as well, in terms of the vocal melody, was fairly true to the original one, but what I did was re-look at the lyrics themselves and completely rewrote them. When I was looking at what we should or shouldn't do with changing Antigone, the first thing that struck me, which I never really thought about before, was that Mark had written all of the lyrics from the viewpoint of Antigone, who was a teenage girl, which kind of seemed a bit strange for a middle-aged guy to be singing as though he was a teenage girl. So I thought, this is an opportunity. It's a very complex play. It's an opportunity to give a third-party perspective on the play itself and the themes involved.
On this new version, we decided that we're going to go epic, and there's two separate choirs going on in places underneath the backing vocals, just to make it sound extra big.
Antigone was one of the first artworks that we got done by Shane Parker when he first started painting for us. The first thing he did was a song called Black Abyss. He did a painting for, which was based on an original Oracle t-shirt, which had a snow leopard on a skull in the middle of an ocean. I'm not sure what it meant, but I actually wrote a book called Black Abyss, which was loose. Well, it ended up being not really that closely related to the original lyrics. When he painted the Black Abyss painting, it was really pretty impressive. It was exactly as we'd envisioned it, which was amazing because it was all basically from the description. But it impressed me enough to think, well, we go ahead and we actually got the album cover commissioned for Sirens of the Styx from there. And of course the logo, which he initially did as Iliad, but we changed it to Ilium. Made it a bit easier to only have to change 2 letters on the logo when we changed our name. And the next one that we got done was Antigone. But the artwork for Antigone initially was based on my idea that we should have Antigone post-suicide hanging from a tree in the foreground, and it had the ghosts of her 2 brothers who killed each other in battle in the background. It's quite a haunting picture. Still one of my favourite artworks for Ilium. We redid all of the artwork with our current artist Dimitar Nikolov for Sirens of the Styx Re-Styxed, and he did more of a classical Greek style painting for Antigone, and it turned out quite well, but I'm still probably a bit more partial to Shane's original artwork, which I think is kind of haunting and beautiful at the same time, and it really brings out those themes, those tragic themes that were in the original Sophocles play, and it came up as being one of my favourite artworks for Ilium.